On Monday, we were talking about the upakilesa, vipassana upakilesa, the imperfections of insight meditation, or sometimes they translate as the corruptions of insight meditation. And I said that this list of upakilesa, these imperfections, they are also applicable in the samatha. So you can call it as samatha upakilesa also. As I said, these upakilesa, they follow a trend. They follow a sequence. Beginning from the delight and beginning from that craving, you attach to something, then it will proliferate because you repeat it again and again, and then it will proliferate, and it proliferates, it becomes the I am mana arises. And then with that ego or mana arises, then it will go into it will go into wrong view. Yeah? Hold on now. Willing, you got to mute yourself for a while. Okay. Then now as it develops and it proliferates, as I said, it proliferates into wrong view. Once it becomes into wrong view, then it's very difficult for us to undo. The entanglement is very, very deep and very strong. And sometimes if there is even the Buddha is in front of you, you may not want to overcome it also. You can't even see that it's a fault, actually. It's a big fault. So it will be good that that as a meditator, especially in the Vipassana meditator, we must go right at the craving, not just only at clinging as part of it, but right at the craving. We got to abandon them, at least on a temporary period of time. So that it doesn't go strong. If it comes in, it just come in for a short while and disappear. Now this 10 these 10 imperfections. Let me go with the sharing of the screen right now. Now this 10 imperfection right now. Last week I already Monday already I already split it up like that. So this one, this first two we already mentioned already. But before we go to the third one, just talk about this imperfection and the overall sense a little bit more. Now, normally in the text, especially in the commentary, then they said that this vipassana upakilesa, they mostly come in at around the third insight knowledge and also at the fourth insight knowledge, not the matured one, somewhere around there. That means at this stage, at the meditative level, at this stage, the yogi is quite proficient in the meditation. The yogi is quite proficient in the sense that they can able to note a lot of things. They can note the mind, they can note the body, they can able to sit there for 1 hour, and the mind can be very continuous. It is where these imperfections becomes at their strongest, because of your qualities of your mind is quite well developed, actually. So that one part there, that one area there, that is many of the yogis get caught into it. As I said, that these 10 imperfections, some yogis get caught into it, some of it, some yogis get caught one of it, and and each and every yogi will have a very different way of how the craving get attached onto these things. But even there are those not even reaching the third stage, the third insight or the fourth insight. Yeah, they are even at the beginning level. Also, they are, because of a certain tendency that they may have due to their past meditation or past lives, and then they brought forward it in the present moment. And while they meditate, and within a short while they meditate, they they fall into lights, they fall into bliss, they fall into all kinds of things. Yeah, then they don't realize it, and they get caught into them. So there are cases also in this way. Yeah? Uh, Even after that, after you practice for some time, now you practice for some time. The thing is that uh, normally the craving still there. Sometimes they come up and then you get hold of it, but it does not last that long. It kind of like disappear, but it still come up. But if one is not careful, again, it becomes ego. Yeah. Later part, we're going to look into it also. Yeah. Can see now? Okay. All right. Now, so on Monday we spoke about the first one, second one. Now the third one. The third one now is bliss or happiness. This one is mental pleasant feeling. Yeah. This is not just any mental pleasant feeling. This is a mental spiritual pleasant feeling. Sometimes, and if you look into the Satipatthana Sutta, then the feelings also is divided into spiritual feelings, spiritual pleasant feelings, spiritual unpleasant feelings. So this one is more of a spiritual pleasant feelings. And these spiritual pleasant feelings, they are very different from a worldly pleasant feelings. And the worldly pleasant feelings usually, normally, it comes up from our senses. Senses because of the breeze come into touching on your hair, on your body, or you feel calm and you feel at ease, you feel pleasant. Whereas when it comes into the meditation part, this bliss, this happiness is sort of like untainted, untainted, in the sense that you really this spiritual feeling, you find that it is so much more greater than the feelings that you have encountered before, or all this emotion that you have encountered before. So this one, it's very easy, very, very easy for yogis to get caught into it if one is not careful. One of the nature of these pleasant feelings is that when they comes in, they also sometimes condition the mindfulness or the effort to become weakened. Kind of like you sit there and then you really feel this that happiness, and sometimes when you feel that happiness, then the mind becomes softened, just sit there. And that time also the thinking, the thoughts, your aches and pains and all that thing is all gone. You're just sitting down there and you really forget about the time. Yeah? And this type of experience, when it arises in some yogis, of course, they will not forget this type of experiences, because these experiences is very, very different from their past experience in the meditation. So it's very easy for a yogi. If a yogi is not instructed, then they get caught into it. And when they get caught into it, they can sit there for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Then they can come up and they feel good. There's no pain, no aches, and no nothing. You can come out, just feel good. And then you, of course, you wish for the next sitting or the following sittings to have all these type of pleasant feelings, this bliss, because it's so wonderful. Uh, Unless you have meditated and you have gone through this type of bliss, then it's marvelous. It's sometimes it's hard to describe with words. So you got to learn to you have to feel it to know it for yourself. So nevertheless, this type of feelings, this type of happiness, it's so easy for people to fall into the traps. So easy in the sense that you sit there for 2 or 3 hours, and this time you are not noting anything else. You are just sitting there. When you're sitting there, even you don't want to note anything else. You don't want to note your even the feeling, that feeling itself, or the rising, falling, whatever it is. You don't want to do anything. So you kind of sit there. That is exactly where the craving is just behind it. And I said on Monday, sometimes you cannot see the craving. You cannot see the delight that is happening at the moment of time. You only can see the happiness that is at that present moment. So with that happiness that is arising at this moment, then if you are careful, then you will know that the craving is already behind it. So, but most of the time, the yogis is not careful. Even if I said this, the next time you meditate, also you will also fall into it because it's so nice. Wait for a while. The pain and the rising, falling can wait for a while. They will still be there one after all. Then you sit there for a while, just relax. Then relax. After that, it come gone already. You feel okay. Let's go back to rising and fall. But after you go back to rising, falling, or your in breath, out breath, everything will be quite stale. It's not as so pleasant as when you are at that feeling. So every time you want to go back there. So it's so easy for the yogi to get caught into these type of feelings. Therefore, with this type of feelings, as I said again, it springs up into I am, into the ego. You think that you are a great yogi. You think that you're a wonderful yogi. You think that you have achieved quite a deep insight. Or sometimes if you are in the samatha part, with this type of pleasant feeling come in, then you may even think that, is this jhana already? Is this the fourth jhana already? Or is it the third jhana already if you are looking at the sutta type of jhana, because the Buddha says there's always happiness in that jhana. Am I in that jhana already? So you're not there yet. So with this, it's also easy for the yogi to get caught into a wrong view. And the one wrong view here is that when they believe that this is nibbana, because they have not seen all these things before. Or nibbana, if you are a samatha meditator, then it is jhana, and you believe that even you are not there, but you already believe that you are there. And as I said again on Monday, just to remind you again that when you have this, you're not going to keep quiet. You're going to come out and you're going to share with the whole wide world about your Dhamma or Adhamma here. You believe that this is all enlightenment and so on. So it's this one, you see, they go on the same trend. So here, you look at here we got 10 vipassana upakilesa. Then these 10 upakilesa, Then you got to times 3 again. Then you be 30 types of vipassana upakilesa. 30 in the sense that there will be 10 more in sense of conceit or mana here. Yeah? In the sense of conceit or mana. And then another 10 more will be at the wrong view. So there'll be altogether, they said that 30 types of vipassana upakilesa. That one is mentioned in the Visuddhimagga. Yeah? So the trend, they, as I said, you see again and again, the nature of the defilements, how they build up in a similar way. Uh, uh. Then the fourth one is tranquility. Tranquility here, or passaddhi here, it means that quietness of the mind. Now in the Abhidhamma, there are two types of tranquility, two types of passaddhi. There are kaya passaddhi, there are chitta passaddhi. Kaya passaddhi here means connected to the mental factors, quieting down the mental factors. Whereas there's chitta passaddhi, quiet down the consciousness. And this also can be seen in the time of vipassana, if you are sharp enough. Now, this tranquility, it means that now once it arises, then it quiets the mind. It quiets the mind means the restless mind, the thinking mind, the chattering mind, the commenting mind, your dharma thinking, your worldly thinking, your past thinking, present thinking, future thinking, all quiet, all zero at that moment of time. But your noting mind is still working on it. Yeah. It's just like on a silent run, It's just like a submarine, and they go under in the sea. Then nobody can detect it because it's still moving, but it's on a very quiet run. So this thing also the same thing. When the tranquility becomes prominent, the mind becomes quiet. Quiet. That means that you can able to notice things, and even at this moment of time, your labeling, your process of your labeling, rising, falling, in breath, out breath, all also quiet. All these things quiet, except the noting mind is still carry on. Isn't it really interesting, this one, passaddhi? Because a lot of times we cannot get this passaddhi. So this passaddhi, when it arises in the state of mind, it's wonderful. Wonderful because that in your meditation, your mind is keep on chattering, thinking non-stop. Stop for a while, after that it starts again. Sometimes commenting on the things that is not related at all to your life. Sometimes you watch a news, then you meditate, then that news come up, you also want to comment on it. Sometimes you sit down there, then you meditate, and then you want to start commenting about or you want to start talking to somebody inside the mind also. Sometimes there's a dialogue, monologue, sometimes 3-person, 4-person inside there. All your creation, but as if like they are talking to each other. Sometimes even like while we are meditating also, a lot of us, especially those who are more or less have been to a retreat, they kind of like a lot of commenting on their own experience. What is going on? Hey, this movement here, is this anicca or not? Is this dukkha or not? The Bante that they say like that is anicca. Now I see like this. Is this anicca or not? Maybe it should be like, maybe should. Then you start commenting a lot. So when you comment, when you talk, when you mentally, when you conceptualize and so on, then the tranquility is not there. Yeah. So when the tranquility is there and it becomes prominent, you see that the mind really quiet down. So sometimes between this kaya passaddhi and chitta passaddhi, sometimes you can able to notice them too. Yeah. Sometimes you notice that there's a lot of chattering, talking, and so on. Then when you watch it, then all of them quiet down. Once they quiet down, then of course the whole mind quiets. So in that sense, it's more towards the kaya pasadi, more towards the kaya pasadi. Because this one connected with the mental factors, and then that restless mind is also a kind of a mental factors. When you come to the chitta pasadi, it's sometimes that the mind, the consciousness, it's like running here and there. It's running. But your mind is not settled. You find that your mind is not. There's not much of. Then perhaps there's not much of a thoughts and thinking, but somehow or another the mind is not settled. The awareness, the knowing is not settled. It kind of like fluctuate, and then when you noted it, then after that the whole mind quiet and then clear again. Then it's more towards chitta pasadi. Yeah. But anyway, it doesn't matter. If you do while you're meditating, if those things come up, you don't go and split your head. You start thinking again, this chitta pasadi or this kaya pasadi, then again all the pasadi will not be there. So make sure you see them as they are. Yeah? Now again, for this tranquility, for those who have a lot of restless mind, a lot of thinking, a lot of talking inside you, and then when you have this pasadi, it's really feel that the whole mind is totally rested. The totally mind is really quiet. You never know that how quiet a mind is until you feel the tranquility. Because a lot of times we all of us or many of us, we are a lot of intellectual people, and then everything is in your head on. Your whole world is running in your head on. Your work also is a lot of intellectual work. You talk also very much intellectual. Everything you want to do, you rationalize first. Yeah, and your whole life have been doing like that. And then while you want to meditate, you want to quiet down the mind is not going to stop. So the mind will keep on running. And you really feel that sometimes for some yogis, you find that it's so difficult just to quiet the mind down. But when it comes, this one come in. For some yogis, they already attached to it. The tranquility can come in such a form that it becomes stronger, and then the whole mind becomes very quiet. And also with this tranquility, also it can bring down the balance of the mind. Because this tranquility, if it's in a balanced state, that means if you are not attached to it, then it becomes one of the factors of enlightenment. Under the 7 factors of enlightenment, then this tranquility is one of it. But if you are not careful, you begin to attach to it, because this tranquility, when it comes in, it also comes in with some kind of equanimous or sometimes of pleasant feelings. Quiet, the whole mind quiets down, and it feels really good. So some yogis, if they are not careful, again, they interpret that as something great, something deep, something that you have. Or further on, if they are not careful, they are thinking that or believe that this is nibbana or this is jhana. So this is tranquility. This is needed, as I said. All this number 1 to number 9, as I said on Monday. If they are not connected with number 10, then it's perfectly all right. They are perfectly needed for meditation. But it's because of number 10, then it becomes problematic. The 5th one, resolution, adhimokkha. Here, resolution means that a person who is very much into strong faith. For some people, some meditators or some devotees, their inclination towards faith are quite strong. They like to offer dana. They like to do a lot of service. They like to see monks. They like to see something wholesome. object for them is like they can able to touch and feel. Then when they see this all these good things, then they really like fall into it. Uh, so some people, this type of resolution, when it comes up, when they meditate, this type of, for example, like images of monks, images of Buddha, perhaps, uh, or sometimes you see the Dhamma books, or sometimes you see a group of your own friends, or you see yourself offering dana, yeah? And it comes become very clear to you. And when it comes clear to you, also that time the joy sometimes arises. But a lot of times you see these type of objects, rather than thinking of all kinds of nonsense, yeah. But your mind is inclined to these things. So you want to, not you want, but automatically the mind slide into seeing pagoda and seeing these things. Then when we see these things, the mind becomes alert and clear. But if you're not careful, then slowly the delight starts coming in. The delight to see this again and again and again. They want to visualize this Buddha image. They visualize the Buddha image because it's so serene, it's so calming, it's so peaceful. Then is it coming out very clearly to you. Now during this time, also as I said just now earlier on, I said this upakilesa, because of your mindfulness is strong, because of your concentration is strong, continuous, your mind also become very clear. Clear in the sense that you can able to notice your objects clearly, one thing. But also your mental images and your mental thoughts and all your recollection of your past, of your memories are also is equally as clear and clearer than before. And when it's clearer than before, you find that that state of mind, it is so wonderful because the images you cannot, and then in the past, you only see it very not so clear, but this time, you see it very clear. So you see it very clear, then your faith become very strong. Your faith become very strong. Your effort also become very strong. You now, you said that, wow, because I've seen this, I'm going to push forward already. If you are pushed forward, then not too bad, Then if you let go of all the images and then you keep carry on, then okay. But sometimes these things, this faith becomes too strong. It also can makes the mental faculties become imbalanced. After that, all types of thinking will start coming in. But this resolution also, for some people who, again, as I said, those with a lot of strong faith, then they, as I said, they like to see all these wholesome images, wholesome things in their mind. And sometimes there are also people mentioned in the books, in the Dhamma books, that they begin to see the Buddha coming to them. The Buddha start coming to them. Or you can see the Arahant passing through. And then you begin to believe it now. That you think that actually the Arahant are actually passing through in front of me, with my eyes closed up, but showing me in the mind. Yeah. There are people who wrote in the books somewhere here, they said that the Buddha come and talk to them, to give them to give them the instruction or give them the confirmation that they are already enlightened already. So easy. Sit there. I've met with one monk in the past, I was in somewhere in Yangon, one of the meditation center there. This monk sit for 8 or 9 hours there. Sit 8 or 9 hours there, and then when it comes to the interview, reporting to the sayadaw, and then he was keep on mentioning, oh, the Buddha flying here, the Buddha flying there, the Buddha flying here again, fly there again. 8 9 hours seeing these type of things. Huh? You see, there are some 8 or 9 hours is quite and able to sit quite well, I mean, in the sense, but the whole mind is in a way corrupted by this imperfection. Yeah? Although the images all are wholesome images, these are wholesome thoughts. It's not like unwholesome thoughts, they are wholesome thoughts. But because of they are not careful with their clinging, with their attachment towards it, and this time for that particular yogi, a particular monk, is already clinging already. Goes into such a strong belief that the Buddha is flying through and there. Then there are people who think that because of this Buddha and so on, oh, then sometimes the light is coming, the Buddha's light is coming to me, then this light is covering me up. 好死了, There already, this Buddha light is here already. I attain the Buddha light. That means I attain the Nibbana already. You see, because of all this over faith. Yeah? Not careful. All you need to do is just, in the beginning part, as long as they don't get caught into it, then okay. But once you get caught into it with this type of lights, with this type of sacred images that you see, then if you are wrongly interpret them, wrongly believe them, then it's very difficult for you to undo. So this one, don't underestimate also. Yeah? All it can become very clear, very strong to you. So, you see. Resolution. Exertion. 6, 7, 8, 9. Exertion here. We go back to this. Now, exertion here means the mental effort right now. The mental effort here, it means it is continuous. It is balance, continuous balance. And this time, because of mental effort is strong, your sleepiness, drowsiness does not come in. It acts as a, when we talk about the 5 faculties and the 5 powers, where one of it is effort. When as I said, that within the power, inside the power, it's the opposite. The opposite cannot penetrate it. That means here, in regards to effort, the sloth and torpor cannot enter. So at this time, that exertion, you find that you can able to meditate fairly strongly, very well balanced, very nice. You don't overcome with that sleepiness, as I mentioned, on Monday also. There are some yogis are affected by that drowsiness for 95% during the sitting. 5% only they get clarity. So in the beginning part, you have some yogis have a lot of this sleepiness. But now, because of trying again and again and again, and then the sleepiness get less, and then now the meditation becomes quite good. Then it's totally, you don't have much of sleepiness right now. Your mindfulness is also continuous, clear, and so on. Then when that thing happen, the whole meditation feels really good. Like like the teacher says that continuous mindfulness, you must have continuous mindfulness. This time exactly you see this continuous mindfulness and continuous effort. Uh, and then sometimes the sayadaws or the ajahn, they say you must not have sleepiness. Your sleepiness is terrible and it makes you very lazy. This time you don't have any sleepiness. But if you are not careful, your as I said, your mind can turn into an ego trip, in the sense that you see other people who are sleepy, then you think that you look at them, they're still sleepy. You look at me, no sleepiness at all. 1 hour sit, morning sit, afternoon sit, night sit, no sleepiness. I look at some of the other yogis there, you see all drowsy, all nodding. You see the way I sit, the body is quite straight. You see? Ego trip. Now, if once in a while this type of ego do come up in every yogi, as long as it doesn't it doesn't get strong, it kind of come, it disappear, then you go back to your meditation again, then well and good. Then it doesn't affect you so much. Yes, it's an impediment, but it's not a strong one because you can able to let go and then carry on with your meditation. But some yogis are not. Some yogis think that they are really great meditator. Once they reach here, they thought that we don't need any more teachers. I can count in my own already. The path is very clear, big, open up already. Sometimes there are some people, there are some devotees that I've met also a few times that they said that what for you need all the teachers to meditate. There's so many things that's mentioned in the books already. There's so many things that's mentioned in the books, so many things that's mentioned in the sutta, so many things that mentioned in the commentaries. Why will I need teacher for? I can do my meditation on my own. What for need teacher? The book is good enough already. This is exactly a lot of these people get caught. They thought that they are doing well, but they don't realize that the craving can make you think that you are doing it right. It can make you believe that you are doing it right. So you need teachers, you need the right teachers, you need a competent teachers to actually able to point out your fault. Most of the time when a yogi get developed quite well, they can meditate on their own, not to say cannot. But once in a while, they need to check also with the teachers because you never know this craving can 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 just slip underneath the whole experience without you realizing it. And then because of your repetition on it again and again, it becomes your character. Uh, take for example, let's go back with the screen scare. Now take for example the lights and so on, the rapture and so on. You because of your repetition going into the lights, every time you sit down, automatically the lights come up. If you are inclined into, let's say, tranquility, then every time you sit down, the tranquility will come up. Rising, falling a few times, or in breath, out breath a few times, or you're doing metta a few times, and then the whole mind quiet down. It doesn't want to do anything. Quiet down. Just stay there. And you stay there and stay there. And sometimes with this type of tranquility, for example, if it becomes attached, you become attached to it. And then for long, let's say, it becomes your everyday character too. That you begin to very quiet, you don't want to do anything because you don't want to disturb the state of mind. People talk to you, you just want to don't want to talk so much. You don't want to move very fast, so you move everything very slowly. But people look at you, wow, you see such a transformation this yogi has. What wonderful things that this yogi become. Before that was so fast and so worldly, Right now, no, so slow, so quiet, so calm, so peaceful. But some people is just attaching to all the tranquility, and it make it very nice, very firm. very nice, very thing, and it comes up in their everyday um, life, And if you're a monk, it looks nice, isn't it? If you're a monk or a nun, if you with that type of movement, soft movement, quiet movement, and then that's where the devotees come in. They was thinking that, wow, this Ajahn, this Sayadaw, this Bante, this Mechi, whatever, must be enlightened already. You look how she walk. And then after the devotees talk around, and then of course they'll spill over to the monk or the nun. And then the monk and the nun think that they are people see him that you're so, you know, you're so well mannered, you're so calm and serene, you're so giving a lot of inspiration to a lot of people. Yeah. And then it looks good. But because of sometimes they think that they are enlightened already, and then they act like they are enlightened being, walking also nicely, slowly, everything softly, no more talking very rough, talking very nice, very calm, very peaceful, things like that. So when they come in long period of time, it becomes a character. Then, as I said, that sometimes these things can be when a person get caught into all these type of things, then it comes up in their character, come up in the wrong view, come up in many ways. So all these things also, all these things. When it comes to, like, for example, this exertion means, as I said here, the mind is free from all this sloth and torpor, sleepiness. Mind is very good. And because of this exertion, your mind is, because the effort is there. Therefore, the seventh one, the knowledge here, means it's not just any book knowledge or anything like this. This time is the mind is actually able to see things very clearly. That means the mind is given an object, or an object arises, it can able to scrutinize the object very clearly. Say, for example, you're able to notice the rising and falling. And the rising and falling is, hold on. And the rising and falling is moving quite strongly, and it's moving very clearly, and you can able to see its tension, it's moving, it's arising, it's passing away, it is changing, it's getting long, short, fast. You note one or twice already the rising, falling already changed shape. You notice again 2 or 3 times, again it already moved in a different patterns, and it keep on continuous. That means the time, the mind, the penetration, the knowledge, the insight right now is sharp. It is sharp. If it's going on without any craving, then it's wonderful. But then clinging also can come up. The eighth one, strong mindfulness here. Again, here is the continuity of mindfulness. That means your mind is really present there. You are not so easily get forgotten about your meditation object. You don't like, just because there's some noise there, then your mind can go there and go and think, what is it? Who is that? Who is opening the door? No, your mind is not so capable, not so busybody. Your mind, the mind knows that the sound is there, but it's not affected by the sound. It knows the sound, but it's not affected. It still keep on noticing the objects as they are, and it can able to notice it. And then even at times, sometimes the thoughts, it's like building up at the background. The mind already knows it. The noting mind or the mindfulness here already knows it, that thing is already building up at the background. But the mind doesn't fall into it. doesn't go into state of, you fall into a story, or what we call appamada in Pali. You fall into it, and then you totally forget about the meditation object. This time, those type of thoughts that come and tickle you, come and try to pull your strings a little bit, try to get you out of that meditation. No, you won't. You don't even have to go out. So isn't it wonderful this time that your meditation is going on in this way? Yeah. And it's really wonderful at this stage of time. Your mind is able to penetrate, can be very clear. No sleepiness, everything is going like well-oiled machine. Uh, isn't it wonderful? You're supposed to achieve, I mean, your meditation is supposed to go right here, and you continue as long as possible. But you must not forget about that craving. As I said, they are just lurking around the corner if you are not careful. In a sense that if once you are not careful, this exertion, knowledge, and mindfulness, because they all come together, to form the noting mind, to form the noting mind. So this time, your sitting your sitting is straight. Because when you have this strong mindfulness coming in also, you will also notice that sometimes your body is a bit sengeh a bit, it bend a little bit. And then with that strong mindfulness, your body is automatically straightened up. You can see that sometimes your meditation, you can see that sometimes your body starts to straighten up on its own. That means somewhat the mindfulness already start kicking in a strong and continuous manner, balanced manner also. So that is wonderful if you can able to achieve that. Yeah? But again here, due to our craving, sometimes because of what is happening right now, we may think that we are great yogi again. We can think that we are wonderful yogi again. We think that we are highly achieved yogi. In a sense that sometimes there are people who do walking meditation. Who do walking meditation because of this state of mind, or your mind is well balanced. The walking is very smooth. There's no like tumbling down. There's no that the mind is, that the head is heavy, or the tiredness, or you don't want to do. But this time you really want to do. You are resolute to do it. Your mind is clear. Your mindfulness is continuous. So your whole body, it feels light, it feels comfortable, and you can able to do this walking meditation. And every step that you do, every movement that you take note now, you can able to notice its pressure, its hardness, its softness, all the motion that is going on, without there's no missing a beat, there's no skipping and noticing and so on. You can able to notice very, very clearly. If you are not careful, sometimes the thought start coming up. If the other yogis can look at me how I walk right now, how wonderful I walk, how balanced I walk. You look at that yogi again, you see falling again, you see. You see that yogi start unbalanced again, you see? You see? You see, look at me how I walk. If the yogis can see me how exactly I walk, I'll be inspiration to them. Yeah, you see. And these are things that I heard during in the interview. During interview, they thought that they are because of why? Because that they are meditators for a long period of time. They have been meditating there for year in, year out, 20, 30 years already, longer than the teachers also already. Then here they are. They meditate, although they didn't go far, but they have some good meditation. Not to say they don't have good meditation. But again, the ego starts coming in. And then this ego, you can see sometimes we meet with this type of yogis, that they come in in their daily life also. In their daily life. Because I've met with, or I heard now, I heard that there are some yogis, because was a meditator, was a vipassana meditator. I have some good achievements. And this clique of mine, these yogi devotees, yogi friends of mine, we are this meditator. And also we are connected with this Ajahn, with this Bante or this teacher, we are with them. The rest of the people know how to do dana, sila only, don't know how to do meditate. We are more elite yogis, elite devotees, So when I sit down, I will sit with my own gang, my own elite meditator here. Other people, I'm not going to join them because all they're talking is all nonsense only, You see? And they come into their everyday life and they don't realize it. Even though they have been meditating for some time, perhaps they have some degree of meditation experience, but they really come into their everyday life that they think that they are elite yogis. They are, and they are and they are great yogis. And sometimes there are some people, their ego is connected with the teachers or with the sayadaw or with the who is and so on. Because we have this sayadaw, or this ajahn or this longpo is better than the rest. My longpo is arahan longpo. Your longpo is no arahan longpo. There are people like that. That one I met also in the past, but this one is specifically connected to meditation. So this one is that they have some degree of development, but they have not achieved the high development, enlightenment yet. Then they thought that they are great yogis. So these things, it happens during in the meditation. It is because that sometimes we meditating, we are not careful with the thoughts. The craving comes in. It doesn't come in as just, as I said, you can't see the craving because it's not prominent. It comes in as thoughts. For example, if you're walking and then everything is going well, going smoothly, and then that a particular thought arises. That people is looking at me, you can teach something to other people, and then that type of thought, you have to watch it already, because behind it, connected to it, is the craving is already there. You don't see the craving, but you see the thought. So as I said, yesterday or Monday, to catch the craving is that you have to see the smoke, not the fire. Most of the time you see the smoke. You see the smoke, the fire is there's a behind it is there already. So you learn to catch hold of this type of thoughts. As long as you don't entertain with this type of thoughts, perfectly all right. They come in for a short while, then just carry on. Yeah. So sometimes this type of thoughts, it may not come in all the wholesome type of thoughts. Sometimes it can come in as unwholesome type of thoughts. Unwholesome types of thoughts, it means that sometimes you're walking and so on, and then suddenly a short unwholesome thought here, and then it says that these people, this mosquito, has got to smack them. Oh, this yogis, while I'm walking this quite nicely here, now she's snoring there, sleeping. I don't know what she's doing. And then anger also comes up. So this time also you got to be careful. As long as you are watchful for those type of thoughts, then as long as it doesn't prolong, then very quickly the mind comes back to it. Very quickly the mind comes back to the main meditation object. Now in the craving and clinging, you see, when we say craving and clinging, normally they fall under the umbrella of greed, loba. When we say loba, is all mixed together, all this together. But when we want to go into more specific one, we use craving, we use clinging, our attachments. So between this craving and clinging, now clinging, it's easier to see, but difficult to undo. Difficult to undo. Once the clinging is there, you do not want to. Although you acknowledge it, even though next time you get attached to something very nice, something beautiful. Although you have dharma, you say that, hey, I shouldn't be clinging so much, but your heart still wants it. Mind say one thing, but the heart wants it, still wants it. So it's very hard for you to undo. We shouldn't cling so much. Head say cling so much, but the heart still wants it. So it's hard for us to undo. Whereas the craving part is easy to undo, but hard to see. Easy to undo means that the moment you observe it right at the beginning, you take notice of it. If you can able to notice it, then because of the mindfulness comes in, it's already gone. But it's difficult to see because they are subtle objects. So it's subtle objects, so you are not able to see it that clearly. You see the one that's connected to it. Then once you see it, then when the mindfulness comes in, because of the weak, in the sense that craving is weak, then it disappears quite fast. Yeah. So that's why, as I said, in the vipassana, as you grow into a deeper aspect of it, your mind becomes sharper, clearer. You can able to notice these type of things. And you can see that how this state of mind is building up into our character, into our lives, into wrong view or right view. So all we need to do is keep meditating. Now, the next one. The next one is this upeka. Upeka also again here is part of the whole noting mind. Because at sometimes the noting mind can comes with joy or rapture, like number 2. When it comes with joy and rapture or zest, when you pay attention to your object, rising, falling, changing, and so on, you find that your mind has interest into these objects, into this noting of how these objects is changing. And you feel quite delightful, and it feels quite nice actually that you're observing it. If you're observing this way, then it's okay, no problem at all. When it comes in as a meditation object, you notice it quite clearly. Wonderful. But upeka here, sometimes when you notice your object, there's no like interest. There's also no disinterest. The mind is just stay there, and then the mind also is not too much. The mind is not too little. Everything comes in a very balanced manner. A very balanced manner. So inside this balanced manner, it's so wonderful that your mind, your noticing mind, is at its optimum level. It's at its optimum level that you can penetrate and can see things very clearly. And this upeka also, because for some yogis, again, when you meditate, some yogis, when they meditate, this state of mind is always in a state of fluctuation. Fluctuation in state, sometimes you watch your rising, falling. Then after that, the mind goes into quietness, softness, nothing. Because the concentration starts overbuilding. Or some yogis meditate on the object. Then after that, it goes into a lot of thinking because over efforting already. The effort is too much already, goes into it. So somehow or another, they can't bring into a state of balance. Somehow or another, they touch upon an object, then it fluctuates in one thing or another. So it's not so easy. But for once the equanimity becomes stronger, then you find that the whole mind is at optimum level. You put your mindfulness there, you put your attention there, the whole object is just going on its own, changing and so on and everything, and your mind is very steady. Very steady. There's no interest or no disinterest. The mind is just keep on noting. So this type of equanimity. Now, this type of equanimity also, when it becomes strong, a yogi tend to think, if they are not careful, they can be overestimating their meditation. Because when you go into the deeper aspect of insight, there is what we call uh, equanimity of formation, sankara upekanyana. Whereas the mind is actually very equanimous and the noting mind is very sharp. Uh, very, very equanimous. Nothing can disturb it. So with that, now sometimes the mind or the yogi thinks that they already reach the state already. Now they're overestimating the practice. So when this happened, again here the craving is already there. He's trying to compare. He's trying to cling on to the knowledge, the thinking here, and the practice. They're trying to match together. So they overestimate the practice. So that is also another form of clinging. So that's why you say this wholesome state of mind, like all these things are wholesome state of mind. As long as you are paying attention to your object, then things are going smoothly, clearly, then well and good. But the moment you start thinking about uh, you like it, you want it, you think that you are good, you think that you are better than others, uh, you think you are better than the teachers, or you think you are better than this one, then it becomes a problem. Then if you have no teachers again, then all these things, it will spring into wrong view. And all these things can go into a wrong view if you are not, especially if you are not guided. You are not guided, and it can all these things spring into wrong. What is not nibbana, you already think that this is nibbana. What is not jhana, you already think that this is already, you believe that this is jhana. So these things you have to be careful. Yeah. So this one, you see, as long as you can able to notice them, if your mindfulness is strong enough, then this craving don't come in. Then don't come in, then you kind of like abandon the craving, or you prevent the craving from arising. Yeah? So we stop until here. Yeah?